Welcome to this podcast, Holistic Creators, where we share our unique and universal stories about shaping the future for the 4 Ps: people, planet, purpose, and profit. My name is Swanet Kunze. I'm a mental coach and your host of this show. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to a holistic future. So welcome. Welcome to my podcast, Holistic Creators. My name is Swanet and I'm your host. Today, my guest is Vicky Renz of Oh My Mama Body. So welcome to my show.
Hi, and thanks for having me here.
So understanding that a lot of women are really into this idea, they want to have a family and get a baby. And what I see is that for a lot of women or for parents or becoming parents, it is difficult at this moment to really become pregnant and to figure out what is going on in their bodies. So you are specialized in this topic, and I'm very curious to hear a little bit about your own story. How did you come into this topic and become an expert in this area?
Yeah, really happy to share about that. And it's all from my own experiences, my own fertility journey. I always thought it would be just so easy to become a mother. And then when the time came to it, when my clock was ticking and I thought, now would be a good time to start, then things didn't really go as planned. I had 5 miscarriages. I've got 2 boys with me now. I call them Earthside boys. I've got angel babies. And it was through this whole experience that I learned a huge amount about my body, bodily changes, also really deeply healing, how to heal through miscarriage, how to heal through fertility, to be able to cope through having pregnancy. You know, you get very anxious if you've lost before, and really to keep that focus on having a happy, healthy family unit all together. So that's the ups and downs that I went through, and I documented really loads of experiences that happened to me, that happened to my body. It wasn't until the 3rd miscarriage that I actually made the connect between some really bizarre bodily symptoms that I was experiencing and pregnancy hormones. So I was really glad that I did start writing down all of these things I was experiencing. I got to 50 bodily symptoms, which I thought, wow, they're quite strange, perhaps a bit taboo, kind of things where you look on Google or whichever search engine you use, and can end up going down some places you don't really want to go and getting scary answers, which kind of gets you freaked out, which led me towards saying, okay, I really would like to help women. I don't want other women to have to feel like I did. I want to help them with advice, clear, straightforward advice, that they can find the solutions, or not the solutions, perhaps, but the answers that they're looking for, advice that they're looking for, to help them feel confident and happy about themselves. So it led me to creating a PDF document, which then turned into my first WordPress blog many years ago. And a lot of internal struggle with my own chatter in my mind saying, no one will want to listen to this. No one's going to read it, to you're not good enough anyway. Someone else has already written it. And then to, come on, you really need to write this and get this out there. You'll be really upset if you don't do this. And in the end, I did carry on. I joined an online marketing company where I learned loads of great skills and created a really nice blog, which I then also turned into a YouTube channel, which has now got almost 30,000 subscribers and women asking questions every single day. So I'm really happy that I've been able to help so many women with their journeys until now.
Wow. Yeah, this is really a huge story, understanding that you really speak from experiences, and losing babies. I only can imagine, if I'm not a mother, must be very traumatizing and really, wow. Can you tell me a little bit more, how did you overcome this fear of course, losing your own babies and then still going on like, oh, okay, I really want to become a mother, and not going into fear about this? How did you overcome this trauma?
Yeah, it's a really huge trauma to overcome. And it's a question that women ask me every single day. How am I going to get through this? How am I going to feel like normal again? Can I ever feel normal again? And for me personally, I've been doing spiritual work, healing work since I was in my early 20s. I learned spiritual healing, healing with the hands, spent a lot of time on myself, but also helping others. And over the years, continued that journey. And it wasn't until my first miscarriage that I really got deep, really stuck into my healing again, because I knew it was going to help me. I see the world, it's like through a healer's eyes, which means when something happens to me, like a physical problem, I look for the bigger picture. What could be behind the root cause of this problem? Is it something to do with me emotionally? Is it to do with some past history in my life? I look into the healing field to see what's going on with my own personal energy field and what could be attached to me to help relieve what's going on. And because of this, like greater, I call it a greater belief, like this bigger picture, I went into more studies of healing, like theta healing. I also read so many books. I started following so many of the gurus. I mean, I've been following someone like Wayne Dyer. I absolutely love him. I know he's passed now, but his teachings are just going to be forever, aren't they? I love what he speaks about. And I also got into shamanism. I absolutely love that earthiness of banging the drum, connecting with Mother Earth and all of the elements. It's something that I really enjoy as a healing technique because I see lots of pictures. I'm very visual when I'm healing. So all of these techniques brought together really helped me to heal through my miscarriages, because it enabled me to make a communication with the babies that I lost, to understand what was then their reason for passing, why they weren't with me. Well, they are still with me, but why they weren't physically present in this present moment with me now. And also to understand deep down in my own body what could be going on. It actually helped me feel incredibly confident. And also I knew and I trusted the process then that I would be seeing my babies. My angel babies there are all around me. They are protected by my ancestors, but they're also there to protect me. And I strongly believe that if I hadn't have had this experience, I wouldn't be here now today with my YouTube channel and helping all these wonderful people.
Yeah, wow.
I'm just gonna have to cut this because I've got a runny nose. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Cold in here. Thank you, apologies. Yeah, so I see now when you look at the big picture now 10 years later, after I've been through all of this and I've come out the other side and created something from it, I just am really thankful for the experience. I know it's a really traumatic experience to go through, but you can also come out the other side of it and grow and develop and find your courage, find your strength and find that love and be able to get out of bed every single day, feel encouraged, because there still is a future, there still is a reason why you are waking up every day, even if your babies aren't with you.
Yeah, wow, this is really amazing. And I'm not sure if you have the same concept as I do have, that like souls are figuring out into which family they want to be born. So like, why do you think that these little souls decided to come into you for this moment?
Yeah, that is a really lovely question around the souls, and realizing that we are all souls, and souls perhaps do come here to first test things out, or they want to have that experience themselves to be able to then go back and develop on their journey even further. And when I was going into this from my own personal experiences, and my souls were saying to me, my baby souls, you know, that's what I wanted to experience. My life before was feeling this way. So I decided to feel that short-term love within you and to be able to go back and then continue my journey. So it's really interesting how we're all on journeys together, how it's all like interwoven. That really big picture. But when I think about it, I feel like we're in a big web. I mean, not a spider's web that's going to catch us, but a beautiful web, like a golden web where we're all connected in some way, because, you know, we have so many past lives or other lives happening now where our souls are connected. Yeah, it's such a big thing to think about, isn't it? It can really blow your mind when you really get deep into it. And also when you see life that way, it's a completely different feeling as well. I know it's really hard to go through loss, but at the same time, it brings a lot of peace when you realize that life is continuous and that we're all linked together in some way.
You said for your own journey, on the one hand, it brought you deeper into your own understanding about that spirituality and also understanding about your strength, because going through trauma and then being able to grow out of this really means that you are a strong person. Do you agree?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's really grown my healing abilities. I think when you go through trauma, I think you find a lot of healers have been through some really big trauma in their life. And it's actually made them be able to connect more with the energy, with the source that then comes through when conducting healings. So, and as a person as well, it has made me a lot stronger. You know, being able to talk about miscarriage nowadays and really, really openly. I never would have been able to do that before, but now it seems so natural to be able to speak about my experiences, you know, to be able to speak calmly about it as well without getting upset, and, you know, just realizing that there is more to it and we can grow.
What I can imagine is that this is still a taboo in our society to speak about miscarriage and how it is losing a baby. Like, no, people don't know how to handle it, and therefore perhaps women will hide it, not speaking about openly about that. It's just an idea. I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're totally right. And in some cultures, you know, you're not worthy of being a woman and you should definitely not mention it. It's a shame. You know, you feel shamed as a woman because you're not performing your duty as a woman to produce babies for your husband or babies for the family, to extend the family. Of course, it depends, you know, which culture you are living in and how that's viewed. I think with social media, there's been an enormous breakthrough in just being able to talk openly about this taboo. And looking at Instagram, you'll see that there are a lot more ladies coming forward and talking about their fertility journeys, talking about their losses. And it is getting more, I wouldn't say normalized, I think that's the wrong word, but it is definitely getting more talked about, that it is okay to lose the babies. And also that you're not the only one. I mean, statistics say that 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in loss. And if you think about how many babies are born in the world every single day, then you've got to think about that high number of babies that are also being lost every single day. So it is really nice to be able to see that there is progress being made. It's still quite a hush-hush topic. When I went through my losses, I didn't want to tell anybody at all. You know, I felt awful. My hormones were all over the place. So I was very emotional. So having to deal with all of that, but also having no one to speak to about it was really hard. But at the same time, I didn't want to speak to anybody about it because how could they understand? And that's a great thing, again, about social media, because you can find other people who do understand you now. And so you can have a chat with someone, even if you don't know them, you know that somebody else gets what you're going through, and that makes a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, I think this is very great to understand that having such a difficult situation and this trauma, being not alone, but there are other women that have been through, like you, for example, and can you really deeply understand about your situation, not from literature, but really from own experience, and yeah, help you and yeah, bring you forward on your own journey as well. So this is what you're doing. No? You're really helping and understanding this kind of women having lost their babies. Yeah, absolutely. So you said also it is about understanding more about fertility, and I've looked a little bit in the statistics, and what we see is that the fertility of people is going down, perhaps because of toxic substances they get from the environment or from food or something, but it becomes even more difficult now for a woman to become pregnant. And no, they are using hormones of different kind of procedures to become pregnant, and then if something like this happens, like a miscarriage, this is even more worse. So what do you think about this process of now yeah, getting a healthy body to become more fertile, or all this topic? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. I think that, yeah, there's so much going on, and we do wonder what are really the causes of this higher rate of infertility that does seem to be happening. On the one side, I question, is it because we are able to test more now? Is it because more people are speaking out about it than they would have done like 20 years ago? Or is it really the modern lifestyle and that things are changing? It's quite hard to know because it's quite a newish thing, I would say. So having that real background, that long-term statistics that we might be looking for, I don't think it's yet available. I really don't think it is. But the number of women who do come to me and approach me with fertility issues is absolutely astounding. And, you know, it goes even right down to how we get sex education at school, to be honest. A lot of women, I'll give you, it's around probably 50% of women who send comments to my YouTube channel. They don't understand their bodies. They don't even know when their fertile times are, how long a period should be, when it's okay to have unprotected sex, or if they're trying to conceive, then when should they be having sex? You know, a lot of this is completely unknown. So I go right back to their basic teachings of what is a menstrual cycle, when could you be having your period, when could you be ovulating, and helping women to work out when they are most fertile. So going from that to then trying for babies, and then women also wondering why aren't I getting pregnant? Okay, so some of it was the basic education. Well, you need to be trying to get pregnant around this time because that's when you're most fertile. And then it's moving towards women who know how to do that. And, you know, they are using trackers, they use ovulation strips, and they know a lot about how their hormones are working and when their period is due. But they're not getting pregnant. Or it seems to be there's a lot of women who have got PCOS. Now, this is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And this is when you get like cysts within your ovaries, which can also disrupt your reproductive system. And there's, you know, that's just one example, but more and more women are coming forward with this, with having irregular periods and disrupts in their body. And then, yes, you do start wondering about, is it to do with our modern lifestyle? We have so much stress in our modern lifestyle, and stress causes cortisol to be produced in our body. Cortisol can interrupt the messages between our brain and our reproductive system. It could be everyday stress. You know, then we think, life is so busy, and with everything that's going on in the outside world at the moment as well, it's not just what's going on internally in your household, it's the moment you walk out the door, isn't it? And then you step into everyday life, and you're faced with the news and everything else. Sorry about this.
No problem.
And it can really affect us, and we don't really realize that it's going on, that how stressed we are actually feeling. So this is something we're taking on into our bodies. And of course, you've got the side of the toxins. You go outside and you've got all the fumes of our everyday world, our eating habits. They could be quite toxic as well without us realizing. What we put on our bodies, soaps, creams, deodorants, all of that. It's kind of just, let's just walk to the shop and grab what's off the shelf, rather than, hey, have a look at the label. Are you sure you know what you're using? I feel like a lot of women with fertility problems are gradually realizing, oh, I do need to start looking at this side of things as well. Perhaps it is influencing me in some way and preventing me from getting pregnant. I, for one, definitely use toxin-free products as much as possible. I stopped using candles in my house, even though at Christmas time you really would like to have candles in your house. And actually this year I found non-toxic candles from the local organic shop, which I was really happy to find. But swapping to things like using pure essential oils in the house, and for myself and for all of my products, eating really healthily as well. I mean, if I can notice the difference in myself, then I really know the difference it's going to make for lots of others. And there has been a lot of research done about eating more like gluten-free diet can really make a huge difference. Things like thyroid problems, which again is linked to fertility. So you can imagine that, if you do look into your diet and how you're living, that you can make a lot of positive impact by making a few small changes in your everyday life.
Yeah, and of course, if you really want to, be a good surrounding, good environment for a soul to enter you and then grow a baby inside of your body, I think it is a good idea to prepare for that, like not be creating a healthy body even before you get pregnant, because this all will have a huge impact on how your baby will grow, and if you even can get this baby. I think we don't really think about that. How can, like, that there's a process before getting pregnant, before having this baby. Like, what are the steps you can do, like in preparation for bringing out all the toxic substances in what you said, your food, your soap and things you use. So not changing this already when you start thinking about, okay, now I want to become pregnant. And also, like, what are perhaps supplements that are already useful to bring into your body, because they will be needed during the pregnancy. So I think this is something that should also be recognized. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And also, if I'm allowed to already talk about it, can I talk about womb healing already? Is it okay?
You can talk of whatever you want, of course, sure.
When you had planned to talk, okay. Yes, the preparation stage is really important, and getting your body ready and creating that wonderful environment for your baby to grow. And I do womb healing with ladies. So womb healing is a specialized fertility healing, looking into your womb space. And this is a great thing to do if you're preparing to have a baby, or if you've been through loss, because our womb space is our center of our femininity, and I call it she is our womb space, and she holds on to a huge amount of energy for us, which also includes a lot of energy from what's happened in the past. So you could have a lot of trauma, and think about all the past relationships you've had. You've shared your body with quite a few other partners, and our womb holds on to all of that. You could still have these connections to previous partners, previous experiences, all being stored up inside your womb space. So if you think about your womb as like a warehouse A warehouse has lots of storage space in it, and all of those storage spaces are used up. It's cluttered. It's getting a bit dusty in there. You know, each shelf is packed with whatever's on there, loads and loads of baggage, and you're carrying all this baggage around with you. And womb healing goes in. It works on several layers through your chakral system to really release and heal what's going on, what's stored on every single level. So like on those shelves in the warehouse, and allow it to be let go of, sent with love, so that you have got a completely clean, nice environment to welcome your baby into. It's really one of my favorite healing techniques, because ladies who come to me, they'll either come to me in person or we do it via Zoom. You see them the first time and you can just see how they're holding on to so much. Just by looking at them, you can see how much is holding them back. And already by the end of the first session, the relief that's on their face, the smile that comes to their faces, because they can feel just so much of a lightness in themselves. And it's often that within 2 days they're coming back for their second session, because they really can't wait to have that second session and release as much as they can to really get them further on their journey. So yeah, that's such a wonderful way to prepare. And if you have been through loss, then to help your body to recover that way as well.
Can you tell me a little bit more how you do this cleaning and releasing? What is the technique? So
yes, yeah, really happy to share about that. So I connect with Mother Earth and with the universal energy, so the source energy, before I start any healing. I bring in the elements as well, like I would do with a shamanic healing. And I bring in all of my guides who help me, but I also bring in the guides of the person who's come to me to be healed. And so it creates a really wonderful protective space and a lot of amazing supportive energy that comes in, that I can help to channel through into that person's body where they need it. And once I go through the healing, I hold my hands over their womb space and go through clearing each level. So on each level of the chakra system, I go through each step and we fill the womb with the pure light of each chakra. And that pure light comes in and works through every single cell in the womb space, with all the support of everyone that's around us helping with the healing. And whilst I'm channeling that healing, I receive a lot of visuals. So I see pictures, I see experiences, perhaps I feel here in my chest, anxiety, hurt, pain. And so I'm allowing those emotions and those experiences to then flow through me. And then I give them back to the universal source, the Mother Earth energy. I give it all back with love, and it gets sort of, I guess, channeled out, you would say, from the person being healed. So they're not holding on to it anymore. And it's really filling that space afterwards up again. So it's not an empty space, but filling it with a pure source love. So bringing in the white light and all the support again around us, like really channeling that beautiful, pure love energy into the womb space. It usually takes me about an hour to an hour and a half for the first session. It's very intense going through all of those layers. And then when it comes to the second session, it's simply like kind of like ironing out what didn't get covered in the first session, and then really reaffirming that pure love into the room space.
Wow, this sounds amazing. And can you tell me what are the women feeling during this process? Is it that they can feel this energy, like whatever, tickling or warmth floating through their body? And how do they react on this procedure during the session?
Yeah, well, it really depends on what kind of person you are. Are you more of a touch person? Like how do your senses work? You know, feeling, seeing, hearing. And that then depends on them, how they experience things. So I'll have some ladies who see the lights and really feel the intensity of the lights as we're working through the chakra system. Other ladies will feel like a buzzing, tingling sensation. And I think the feeling of release and love comes a lot when you see them at the end. Like really, you just see the transformation in their faces, how they start to shine and say, wow, I just feel really, really light after that. And oh, can I just lie here in this space and enjoy it? So that's just so nice. So yeah, it's really dependent on how that person really sees things, feels things, and hears things. Yeah. So like with me personally, I'm a more of a visual person, and then I feel it in my heart, and they could get those sensations that could be different for them. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is really one part, not only clearing the body out, the toxic substances, but also like past experiences and traumas on the energetic level. Yeah. So really being there as the vessel to embrace the new soul to come in. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about women at this time having the connection and the feelings for their own body? Like, do they really feel when they are ready for the baby, or how the body feels when they say, okay, now I would like to embrace this baby? So like the starting point, kind of.
Yeah, it really depends on that lady and their connection. So I don't like to tell people when I see things, and I kind of get a feeling about when their babies are going to come to them. I would see things like the time of year. So I'd be able to associate it with that, or some kind of event that's going to happen in their life or people around them. So they're clues for me. And sometimes I would ask them general questions about things in their lives, so more to get an idea for me about when that could possibly happen in their life. But then I will not tell them directly what I've experienced in that respect, because then I know that they would hold on to it, and I want them to be left open to enjoy this experience and not thinking, oh, Vicky said it's going to happen now, and then they'll be maybe stressing themselves out more, and then it won't happen the way that perhaps I saw it. So they themselves, in feeling ready, definitely they feel a bigger difference, that they're ready to let go. So for one of the ladies, for example, who I healed through multiple losses, she was feeling just terrible, anxious, angry, and it was destroying her relationship. She didn't want to go out anymore. She didn't want to be social, but also then with her partner as well. We did so much releasing of that anxiety that she was feeling, that it just changed things around for her really quickly. And 5 weeks later, she wrote to me and said that she was pregnant, 5 weeks pregnant, and really feeling ready for it. So that's I think that's the really amazing thing about being able to release, because then you're making that space open, and not just physically inside of you, but also, mentally, energetically, on all levels.
Yeah, so what I hear from friends I have, like they really tried hard to become parents, and it was like having the plan, when are the fertility days for the woman, like sex, for after having a plan, like today we have to go and have some pleasure time, and then started with hormone therapy, and really brought in a lot of effort. And for me, from looking outside, it felt like they had so much stress. Like, we want to have this baby, and we will do everything to now have this baby. And after a while, as this didn't work out at all, they decided, okay, perhaps we want to adopt a child because it is not working, and let's give us kind of a free time about thinking about that. Just let's go do some holiday and just enjoy life in different ways. And they came back and wow, she was pregnant. Yeah. By this release of the stress and this pressure they had on themselves, it worked. Yeah. So the time, I don't know, I have heard about them about 2 years trying to get this baby, and then after they decided, no, it's not working for us, we will not have our baby by our own baby, then it happened.
Yeah, they relaxed and let go. You do hear that a lot, you really do. I know it happened to one of my really good friends who I studied with at university. She was adopted, she was the eldest daughter, and her younger brother is just 1 year younger than her, and he came along naturally because their parents had let go. I mean, it's not the case every time for sure, but yes, you do hear it a lot, which goes to show that a lot can be linked to that underlying stress.
Yeah. And also like feeling about the body, it is like what you said at the beginning, that having the connection, that the woman really needs a connection to her own body, feeling into that, what is a good situation for her, how she feels comfortable, releasing also the stress. I think this is also part of the preparation, like of course, what we said, energetically preparing with toxic substances, but also like what is the mind, what is a mindset, and
it's just so important to think about, isn't it? And I think a lot of us can get caught up in the medical world. What's not functioning properly in my body? I'll go to the doctor, and the doctors, they're great, we do need the doctors, and they see the world through one angle, and that is their medical point of view. Whereas, fertility, the whole journey is much more than that if you see the bigger picture. So I talk about it's the body, the mind, and the soul part of it.
Yeah, this is a holistic approach. And I think mostly we concentrate on the body at this moment, but as the other areas like the mind and the soul are not ready to embrace a child, it becomes even more difficult then. And sometimes perhaps it is good that it doesn't work out at a special moment if you are really in high stress, have a lot of workload, and perhaps not a stable life. And only when you kind of release all that and come back into your own self, then it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to go a little bit deeper, just one more round into this holistic approach. Is there anything that you would like to add? Like what is also important in this phase of preparation and for this moment to become pregnant?
Yes, I really recommend using a lot of positive affirmations and visualization for your life in general. I think we can get very drawn into having a negative picture. This is never going to happen for me. What's wrong with me? I'm just not good enough. And our mind can really spiral out of control. The more that negative those thoughts get, the more negative force you're putting behind them, which is actually creating that negative to show up in the world. And so then I'd say it's really essential to look at your positive mindset. And my favorite is to tell women, when you wake up in the morning, those first few moments when you first wake up, start your positive affirmations right there and then, because you're positively influencing your day. And start with things, really simple things. Oh, wow, I'm so thankful for my comfortable bed. I'm thankful for feeling so warm this morning. I'm thankful because I can hear the birds singing outside. Isn't that great that the birds are singing? I'm looking forward to my first glass of water, or whatever it is. There's such simple things can make a really huge impact, a positive impact onto your day ahead. And then it goes further into keeping a journal and journaling. So to keep that mind from running off and telling you all these terrible things, you take control of your mind and you start writing down 10 positive statements about yourself. No, I am worthy. I am a great mother. I am confident. I am smart. I am strong. I am positive. I am happy. There's so much that you can tell yourself that's great about yourself. And we really need to reaffirm this to ourselves and write those statements down every single day. Repeat them every single day. Do it more than once a day. Keep on reaffirming that to yourself. And gradually, you'll be able to take over the control of your mind that's been running away with you. And in terms of visualization, I've been a great fan of vision boards for many, many years. And my husband and I, we did vision boards when we first got together because we wanted to travel the world. And so we created the boards of where we're going, and I put the pictures of people that looked kind of like us, like being in that place around the world. So already imagined that was into our present moment. And that's what's important with visualization, is that you make that moment now. So that moment of you holding your baby, that moment of you and your husband, or you and your partner, whoever you're with, holding that baby together, enjoying those moments. What kind of holidays are you going on? Where are you living? What does your house look like? And what's it look like in the playroom? Just put pictures down, and you can use Pinterest. Pinterest is amazing. Go through and type in whatever word it is you're looking for and click on the pins. Gather a whole load of pictures. You can print them out, or you can make yourself like a mood board for your phone even, so that every time you turn on your phone, you're looking at this, what you would like to be your present now, and you're reaffirming it into your brain, into your subconsciousness, that this is who you are now, that this is happening for you. And going back to the journaling, is you can already journal out your life, how you want it to be in the future, but talking about it in the present. Now that I'm a mother of a beautiful daughter whose name is da da da, I feel this way. We are doing this every day, and this is the fun we have together. My life is like this now, like present time journaling. It's really going deep into that subconscious part of your brain and telling it that you have got this in your life. And that makes such a huge difference. And you can use that for anything that you're feeling. So if you have just come through the loss of a baby, miscarriage, then that's going to make a huge difference to your confidence levels. If you're feeling anxious through pregnancy, it's going to make a huge difference. Just keep reaffirming that wonderful present, and you can take control of that monkey mind, as we call it. It runs away with us and tells us terrible things about it. It's just making up stories.
Yeah, I totally agree on what you're telling right now. So I'm a huge fan of vision boards as well, and I have mine here directly on my wall, so I can see it every day when I'm in my living room. And for me, it is also like, if you create this strong vision and it is so attractive and it is filled with positive emotions, then like you creating this in your life, synchronicities will appear. And you will recognize them, because it is, wow, this is what I want to attract. And wow, then you run into a person or see a book or whatever happens that brings you a little step forward to what the whole picture looks like. And for me, it is like I can see this in my life, like it transforms where I have been and how my life looks now. And so if you can participate in a vision board workshop or do it by yourself, definitely I would recommend this for everybody who is listening to this interview right now. So the next step would be understanding a little bit more about if a woman already is in the stage of being pregnant. You said at the beginning of our interview, you figured out like 30 signs and kind of symptoms or signs you felt in your body, perhaps even before you made the test after some weeks, to see, okay, now my body is changing, and perhaps this can mean that I'm pregnant. Can you go a little bit deeper? What are these signs? Perhaps not all 30, but what are signs that...
Yeah, for sure. I always knew I was pregnant before, and my missed period before any test could tell me that I was pregnant. So it was 12 signs on this side, but altogether 50 signs of, well, not 50 signs, 50 symptoms that I had in my body, like during pregnancy, that were a bit strange and taboo, that linked to pregnancy. So the 12 early symptoms, I won't go through all of the 12. They have things like, and I would feel it straight away, pretty much after conception, implantation, feeling implantation, having like this like slight crampy pinprick in one side of my lower abdomen. And from then on, always being able to feel that tiny little place. And that was where the fertilized egg was embedding into my womb lining. And having this real motherly feeling. And it just came over me like a sensation of, I feel like I'm sharing my body now. It's not just me on my own. It's an incredible feeling of feeling like a mother that early on. And really bizarre things like adrenaline rushes, like really feeling this new energy coming into my body, and a butterfly effect in my stomach as well. So I'm very, very connected to my body. And I think that because I'm so connected, I was able to really feel these sensations really, really clearly. It was so obvious to me that I was pregnant, and then taking a test and having it show negative. Well, sometimes it was just too early to be able to take a test that it would show positive. I didn't have enough hormones in my urine for it to show up. And in my case, a lot of the time, the test only showed positive like 3 to 4 days after my missed period. I'm like, come on, I know that I am pregnant. And so that's how I came to producing like a video. It's one of my most popular videos about those 12 really early symptoms that I felt. And then after that, it was having some really bizarre things that kind of freaked me out a bit in my first pregnancies, like a really sore scalp, and going into the bathroom, like looking in the mirror, like, what is going on? Is it burning? And then some days it would feel like it's burning. Other days it would be itching and just sore. If you pressed it like this on your head, put your hand to your head and press, like, why is this happening? And of course, the monkey mind starts spiraling out of control. Then you start looking on the internet and find horrible things that you really shouldn't be looking at when you're pregnant anyway, just telling you that you're ill or there's something really wrong with you. And yeah, so it was only when I got to like 3 pregnancies, and I was like, hang on, this is happening at exactly the same time as last time. Why is this happening? And then putting 2 and 2 together and started doing a lot more research into what do hormones, like pregnancy hormones, actually do in your body, finding a lot of medical papers and really taking time to do lots of research into what could possibly be happening. So in terms of the sore scalp, this was because pregnancy hormones cause like your hair to grow a lot quicker. You've got more estrogen running around your body, and estrogen causes a lot more hair growth, which is why pregnant women often look really glowing and shining, and their hair looks amazing. That's because of estrogen hormone. And at the same time, this hormone could be causing more oil to be produced. And so that causes them pimples in the pores, in your hair follicles, and can get really sore. You could even feel like your hair is sore if you're touching your hair. And it's everything's oversensitive on your scalp. And if you have blocked pores on your scalp, it causes soreness, it causes redness, and it could cause burning patches. So once I put this together, I was like, now I realize I should be using like pure shampoos, checking the labels, say, oh my gosh, okay, look what I'm putting onto my head, that's not going to help. And going like back to the basics with how I was looking after my hair. That's one example of like the 50 things that I found that I connected to pregnancy, which was why it was really important for me to talk about it, because I really wanted to help other women to understand there's nothing wrong with you. You're not ill. It's pregnancy hormones that are causing this, and you can do a lot to feel better about yourself.
So these were really like symptoms in the body, but you also shared like there was a kind of a change in your mood, that you feel more loving, or like you already felt like, oh, I'm not kind of alone anymore. I'm sharing my body, is what you said.
Mm-hmm.
anything else that came up? Like, did you feel perhaps a higher connection to the all existence or anything else?
During my pregnancies, that was very protected, and my healing work actually got put on one side because I felt like I couldn't channel through my body whilst I was growing a little human being inside of me. And so it was an automatic response. When I did try any kind of healing work, it was like it was blocked. It's just really, really interesting to go through that experience. And I really wanted to connect with the baby inside of me. And that only happened when my babies were around 7 months old and older inside of me. So when I was 7 months pregnant, and then I could start that communication with them, but just between me and my baby. If I tried to do it for anybody else, then it wasn't happening. But the most amazing thing was then after giving birth, because that tiny little baby was still so connected with the source energy where they came from, then that was such an amazing feeling. I think so many people love holding babies, but they don't realize why. It's that loving energy that they are still connected to, that pure love. And babies come from a place of pure love. They don't put any values or anything on what they see, on objects. They just see the world with love, and that's such a beautiful state to be in. And that's what you have when you're holding that baby to your chest. You can feel that, and that's such a beautiful feeling. And my babies also sent me visions of where they came from, and I learned a lot, especially with my second child, about where he'd just come from in his previous life. And I did a lot of healing with him when he first came through, because it wasn't such a great situation that he came from, and he came in pretty much straight away to his life now. And there was a lot of war and death in his old life. So for me, I was getting some horrific images, but I knew, okay, you're showing me this for a reason, and I'm here to help you. And yeah, there was a lot of healing work to be done at the beginning. We got through it. We really did. And it just really reaffirmed, that there is so much more to existence, and also that I am here to, help other people with healing. When I've had those experiences with my own children, and know that I can help them, then I know that I can help others as well.
For women who are perhaps not so spiritual, how can they connect with their baby and understand more about how they can support and help it in this phase of growing?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot you can do to help, say, your newborn baby, simply by holding them and allowing them to experience their emotions. I think a lot of old ways of dealing with babies was to try to stop them from crying, quieten the baby down, but that baby needs to let go of whatever those emotions are. So with my second, he cried from 4 PM till after midnight for about the first 3 months. And some would say, okay, it's colic. He didn't have colic. He had nothing wrong with him. He was crying because we needed to heal a lot that was going on. He was still holding onto those experiences. And so it's really being present with them and allowing them, like just looking into their eyes. If you're holding them in front of you, look into their eyes and say, I allow you to feel this. I'm here. I'm holding you, and allowing that baby to let go and feel that calmness once more. So instead of shushing and doing what we're being told to do, it's really holding your baby and connecting with them. Just look into their eyes and hold the space for them.
Can you support women also on the spiritual path with that, if they don't have this access, but they feel that there is perhaps a trauma in the baby that he brings from a past life experience, or perhaps even if this is in the ancestral line of your own family? So can you support them?
Yes, I can. That's something I do through my shamanic healing, and I can connect with, a baby or with any human being. I can connect with them at their soul level. I don't even need to be doing it live on Zoom. I can do what's called distance healing. And so then that's the beauty of how healing works. When you connect with whoever it is at soul level, then I can go in and help that soul through whatever healing journey it needs to be guided through. And then they'll also help the mother to understand what's going on, you know, explaining then afterwards. I write together, I document everything that I've, you know, taken that baby through. And normally they will see a big difference as well anyway in, you know, how their baby is behaving, or not behaving, I say more reacting to their environment around them. Yeah.
So what are examples? What can you find in babies at that stage? Like what are the experiences they already bring to this present time, for example, or yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah.
Yeah. I can give you, well, if I give you the example of my son, so my son had just come from a wartime, and it was a quite recent wartime, so the Syrian time, and there was lots of decapitation, and these were the kind of images that I was getting, like, so really horrific things happening, and that was still traumatizing him, because, you know, he'd just briefly been to this space of pure love, and then he's come back onto our earth, and then having these memories with him, and it's like, well, how can this be? Not understanding, like, you know, how is this pure love? People losing their heads and being treated like this. And there's, you know, just taking that soul through forgiveness of that time, you know, let it go with pure love. You've been there to learn whatever it is you need to learn in that lifetime, to now come into this life and experience this wonderful, loving life, and, you know, being able to live out what you wanted to live out, perhaps in that old life that you couldn't live out and had to end early, and now you're here and you're able to move on. So yeah, a lot of moving on and letting go.
Yeah, so I think this is really amazing that you are able to understand like the traumas, not only in the women, but also what babies will perhaps bring with them when they come into the womb as a soul, and releasing this. So this is again like having this really holistic approach on body, mind, and especially also soul level. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. It's just incredible that there's so much there, and when you find out about it, even if it's brand new to you, it's just really worth getting curious about and finding out more about, because there's so much that, you know, there's so much more to it than simply a crying baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would add that I didn't ask you now? Anything that is still, yeah, this needs to be said?
Well, I think if you're new to the holistic side of things, and maybe some of this sounds completely far out to you, and, you know, come and try it out for yourself, and read books, learn a bit more. Like I said at the beginning, my favorite is Wayne Dyer, or you could read something like The Secret, or there's a brand new film that's come out, The Secret, a modern version of it, just to get those first insights into, you know, the power of your mind and positive affirmations and visualization. Yeah, it's a really nice place to start your holistic healing journey. And if you've never experienced any kind of healing, then try it out. And there's so many different types of healing that you can have. You know, a lot of people have heard of Reiki healing, and that's quite a popular term that a lot of people have heard. There's shamanic healing, there's healing with the hands, spiritual healing. Oh, it's such a wonderful world to get into. Crystal healing, you know, try it out. And you know, if you have been on that fertility journey, you are on that fertility journey, you've lost, or you're thinking about starting your journey, you're thinking maybe I'm holding on to a lot of things. Well, I've got a free guide, a 5-step guide on my website to self-womb healing, because I really wanted to create something that women could first try out for themselves, you know, really have that first taste of healing, and knowing that you can also heal yourself. And it's really possible. You know, it's how I started as well. I read lots of books. I went through the techniques on myself and really dug deep into a lot of what was going inside of me. So this is why I wanted to create that for others as well. So it's available on my homepage, ommybody.com. Free fertility activation guide, it's called, where I explain in a PDF document the steps to go through for a self-womb healing, and I also explain it with a video, just depending on what kind of person you are. You know, some people like to read, some people like to see and hear. So I've just made it as easy as possible, as straightforward as possible for ladies to have that first experience with womb healing.
Well, thank you so much for this great gift. And you spoke about the video you have that you really would like to share with other women. Where do they find this video? You said?
Which video?
Yeah.
The womb healing one. Oh, okay. Sorry. The video is part of the 5-step guide to womb healing. So when you go along to my website and download the free guide, it's all there available for you. It will send you the link to access the video guide and also the PDF guide to self-womb healing.
Okay, so thank you so much. And I really appreciated speaking with you today. And I'm sure you're also available on other social media. I will put the links in the description of this podcast, and people can easily reach out to you and connect with you. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed chatting and sharing with you today.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening or watching my podcast, Holistic Creatives. If you want to know more about how I can help and support you, have a look at my website, spiritualchangemaker.com. You can also join my Facebook group, Spiritual Changemakers Community. Stay tuned for the next episode by subscribing to this channel. And you also can check the previous episodes.